Starting off with Omono Hotels that has opened its first mid-scale hotel in Uganda, the new hotel marks a milestone in Onomo Hotels' growth in East Africa and brings the footprint to 22 hotels in 13 African countries, among them Tanzania, Rwanda and Morocco. The new baby in Uganda's hospitality industry comes at a time of unprecedented challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. Dennis Sigoa did have a visit and he returns with a report.
Uganda continues to attract investors in the hotel sector despite the tough economic times caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The new entrant is Onomo Hotels, located on Akibua Street in the affluent Nakasero Hill suburb.
We create an experience. We're not just a very traditional approach to hotels. We want this to be an urban living environment. When you come to our restaurant, Saba, or whether you're staying in a hotel, you're feeling an experience. And if you are the person that likes to have energy around you when you go to a place, then that is the target market we're looking for.
To the majority of Uganda's population, this multi-million-dollar investment in the bustling city might seem a risky affair, bearing in mind the current economic situation. According to a recent research, most mid-range and high-end hotels in Uganda have failed to break even for more than a year due to low customer numbers.
So right now, the occupancy levels are starting to come up, but it's still way below the 40% that is required for a hotel to break even. So we are still operating, for the most part, in losses in the hotel industry.
But to the proprietors of Onomo, this investment, valued at over $30 million is based on research. They believe Uganda's future social and economic outlook is worth taking a calculated risk.
We have a confidence in the industry on the continent, and there's always something that will happen in business. So you're calling it a risk, we're calling it confidence in the long term. For us, opening up now, we could have waited, we could have delayed. We have our team, we need to participate in the economy.
These sentiments are re-echoed by officials from Uganda Investment Authority and the Tourism Board.
Long-term strategies looks at an opportunity when others are looking at the risk. So Onomo is looking at Uganda. Previously, at the time of COVID-19 growth was commencing, Uganda was the #1 tourism destination in Africa.
We only, it's our hope that we continue to build the confidence that the destination is safe. And of course, it is you and me that can only guarantee that. You need to get vaccinated, you need to observe the SOPs as regularly as possible. And we also need to make sure that we don't get another wave, so that the momentum that we are building now can actually stand the test of time.
Onomo Hotel Kampala has a total of 34 suites and 114 standard comfortable rooms. It also provides conference facilities and a modern restaurant. Dennis Sigoa for UBC News.
Well, thank you so much. We all know that when you buy Uganda, you build Uganda. Better still, if you visit Uganda, you're still building Uganda. Invest in the Pearl of Africa. Now, speaking of investments, Opportunity Bank has partnered with Uganda Green Enterprise Finance Accelerator to expand support to greening Uganda. The initiative is to increase access to finance and small and medium-sized enterprises and a facility of
resources. If we don't practice climate smart and resilient lending, it will be very hard.
The partnership of Uganda Green Enterprise Accelerator and Opportunity Bank is to address the challenges that are faced with the SMEs, such as low levels of uptake and awareness.
Active also in terms of training these people in terms of financial literacy too. On top of the information we've given them, we'll be able to train them and equip them with additional financial literacy skills to enable them to succeed. Because we want to see that over the next couple of years, many people are attracted onto the program.
The move also intends to provide affordable loans to the 1,000 selected small and medium-sized enterprises to achieve extensive economic growth and also grow the green finance portfolio from 1% to 5%.
We are going to be bringing on board, in terms of financial literacy, training them on how to manage their cash flow and take up financing that is sufficient to enable them take off in their businesses.
This in the end is going to result in impact. These green impacts are in form of the kind of CSR, that is you doing beyond good and actually influencing society and transforming the environment.
European Union is taking the role in the partnership while strengthening the mission to support green economy.
The fact is that the private sector has difficulty to access affordable finance to support, for example, expansion of its activities. So this is why programs like this one and this type of partnerships become really important, because they bring something which is creating the right foundations for the private sector to be able to access finance.
The fund is targeting a big number of small and medium-sized enterprises, and a facility of $6.1 million has been allocated by Opportunity Bank to expand support in greening Uganda. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Let us green Uganda together. The National Agriculture Research Organization has signed licensing agreements with over 20 seed processing companies across the country. And according to the National Agriculture Research Organization, the aim is to ensure that farmers have access to enough and qualified quality seeds in the country. Ida Nachintu does return with a report.
Any good harvest will always start with the quality of seeds planted, and this partly explains why the National Agricultural Research Organization wants to work closely with seed multiplication companies. The Deputy Director General in charge of Agricultural Technology Promotion at National Agricultural Research Organization, Sadiq Kasim, is optimistic that the partnership with seed companies will improve access to quality seed by the farmers.
Now today we signed these agreements together with the certificates, so that there is a commitment on our side to provide the adequate breeder seed and foundation seed, but also at their side to guarantee that they produce quality seed. Abuses in the seed system has been because of demand exceeding production, and now people end up selling grain. But now with this streamlining the process, we should be able as a country to produce adequate quantities of seed for our farmers.
Seed companies described the move by NARO as a major milestone in the fight against fake seed supply, but also the quantity of seed is guaranteed.
Once we have NARO on board and we're working with NARO, we're very sure that we'll get foundation seed on time, but not only on time, but also getting the quantities that we need to produce for our market.
Accessing the best seed or foundation seed has not been easy. To access the foundation seed, and sometimes NARO has not been having enough quantities of seed to give to all seed companies to produce certified seed.
The challenges we have faced, for instance, FICA started in 1999, and we have been promoting and commercializing varieties from NARO, but when we would have people infringing on our varieties, the courts of law would be challenged in confirming who actually the owner of the varieties is. So the day we have signed license agreements, it means within the market, the varieties will be known to belong to NARO, but also officially to be commercialized by respective seed companies.
On the other hand, seed companies will now focus on the production of certified seeds instead of foundation seeds.
Is to get the stress of producing foundation seed off our backs and just concentrate on production of certified seed. Because we have also been, in some cases, producing our own foundation seed, and that is a tedious process. So I think now we have given that burden.
The farmers have been advised to buy seeds from certified companies, but also keep records because the seed producer can now be traced. Adiana Kute, UBC.
Dear Nakuti, thank you so much for actually covering that story in regards to agriculture. Now, away from that, a group of volunteers from Amaziba Ministries want special needs education to be made a priority and part of the examinable curriculum of the people with special needs. The volunteers have held a consultative meeting with the technocrats from the Ministry of Education and Sports on how best special needs education can be developed into an examinable subject with people with special needs. Madam Sarah Ayesiga from the Assistant Commissioner's Office for Special Needs Education at the Ministry of Education and Sport said that in line with the Ministry for Education is the custodian to all learners, and it will participate in identifying schools, teachers and other stakeholders that can help them realize that this is indeed a dream.
So when they bring them out, it will help us also to get them and teach them also. The community around, let them be welcoming to people with disabilities generally. And these children, if they are there, should not be subjected to torture, violence, by beating. They don't understand. You see, they are knocking by things. Such as things, we should understand the challenges of these children. And once we understand the challenges, it will change our attitude, and we shall can learn. And the message is they can learn. Now we are initiating methods and skills of how to teach these children. They can learn. The most important thing, we need parents to be positive, to bring out these children. Let them do whatever they can. Nurture them well. Let the children be clean. Let them.
We are here at Hotel Africana mainly to introduce symbolic universal notation to the stakeholders or the partners that work with the special needs education. We are introducing a new language called SAN, symbolic universal notation, and we want Ministry of Education to embrace it as an education and a communication methodology. Once it has been embraced and been incorporated into the curriculum, it's going to make learning and communication for the deaf-blind persons in Uganda.
So that's where we began from, and this far the Lord had brought us. Our prayer is that all the people in Uganda who are deaf and also the deaf-blind people be able to learn reading, but also to be able to study and have the materials actually documented, because what they have already, we know they are learning, we know they are studying, but what they have is not documented. But this methodology is able to document everything that the blind and also the deaf and the deaf-blind can study. What they study, they can also document. Unlike the other sign languages, which you cannot document and you cannot remember the history of it because it is not documented. This
Inclusion of people with disabilities is indeed a push in the right direction. Away from that, we get to look at former presidential candidate Joseph Kabuleta having launched a national platform ideology that will unite all the Ugandans and guide the next political dispensation. The dispensation that was dubbed National Economical Empowerment Dialogue aims at ensuring that political players in the field are moving from personalities and they get to focus on ideologies to put in place by different political actors. Helen Gizamba with this report.
Lango region is here. Teso.
In Uganda, the political atmosphere for one to gain popularity before the electorate is difficult, save for the ruling NRM with resources to champion its agenda. However, with a new political platform, the National Economical Empowerment Dialogue, headed by former presidential candidate Joseph Kabuleta, is spearheading a campaign aimed at focusing on ideologies that would drive people out of poverty rather than concentrating on politics of individuality.
Today we are here because I know that our politics has been guided so much by personalities, and we want to move away from personalities and move into ideology. That is our purpose. So what is the one ideology that we selected, we sat as a group and selected one thing that is urgent to this country, and that is the idea of economic empowerment.
Kableta says Uganda is one country rich with minerals as well as fertile soils where the indigenous people have not been empowered to make use of their natural resources, but rather managed by individuals for selfish gains.
We have to start talking about the elephant in the room, which is resources, the resources of this country. Why do some people believe that they have almost a divine right to own every wealth in this country, while they treat the rest of the people as squatters in our own country? Now, we might not be able to change the politics unless we actually start changing the conversation.
Kableta adds that his movement only welcomes those who have lost in an election, but not those who were incumbents and later failed.
But of course, just as elections always are, some people lose. So we said that rather than losing out those ideas of people who apparently lost, we can harness them into a movement where we actually push a political ideology. Because what happens is, for most of the constituencies, the winner gets anything between 30 and 35%. That means 65 to 70% of the people feel disenfranchised, of the electorate feel disenfranchised because their candidate was not the winning candidate. And you know the way our politics is, there are no silver medals and bronze medals. So if you don't get gold, you go home with nothing.
Helen Barbara Jizamba, reporting for UBC TV News.
Well, the afternoon edition does take a short break. When we return, we get to look at the stories making headlines on our international scene.
Uganda, today is a great day to work towards your dreams. Dial *185 *7# and select savings to save as low as 500 Ugandan shillings on regular savings or 250,000 Ugandan shillings for fixed deposits. AIRTEL Money Super Saver is powered by KCB Bank Uganda. AIRTEL Money, instant, secure, borderless. T's and C's apply.
Echa COVID-19 chijja kugwa only if we stay at home, observe physical distancing, wear masks properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly, or get vaccinated now.
I smile when I think of you, Uganda, my home. My home, I dance when I look at you, Uganda, my home. Oh, my Uganda.
I know, with you I'll always stay forever. I know, because I feel that we belong together. My home. On my heart, mommy, oh my Uganda.
Hey, mama. At MTN, we look forward to starting another exciting journey together to grow our home, Uganda.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations, Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
You know, you could just buy a new smartphone from anywhere in Uganda. Dial *175*94# to activate their 100% double data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles for 3 months. Better yet, you automatically receive free 1 GB valid for 30 days. You are hooked already, aren't you? Enjoy 100% double data bonus from AIRTEL. Buy a smartphone from anywhere in Uganda and insert an AIRTEL SIM card. Dial *175*94# to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. Dial *175# and select your preferred bundle to activate a 100% data bonus offer on weekly or monthly bundles, valid for 3 months. AIRTEL, the smartphone network.
(21 p.m. We do continue with UBC's lunchtime news. On to the international story update, where we get to look at the COVID-19 pandemic having resulted into schools shutting down across the world. Globally, over 1.2 billion children are out of the classroom. As a result, education changed dramatically with the distinctive rise of the e-learning, whereby teaching is undertaken remotely and on the digital platforms. In Uganda, some of the children are learning electronically ahead of the physical reopening of schools in November. Speak of challenges of learning without reliable internet access and technology struggles to participate in digital learning. Details in this report.
Jordana Alinda wants to be in a classroom studying. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic that forced the closure of schools, she has been homeschooling. She says it's been a tedious process.
I would like to go to school because it's very hard learning on Zoom. And if you don't have enough internet, sometimes the meeting can go off.
The government is gradually easing its COVID-19 restrictions, and this kind of learning alternative may soon be over. Starting January next year, primary and secondary school students will be back in the classrooms. But that will depend on how many teachers and non-teaching staff will have received their COVID-19 vaccine. The government says it is targeting 550,000 teachers. More than half have received their first dose. Maureen Sanya is one of them.
Some super spreader communities for COVID-19. So we are not building new structures. Instead, we are coming up with processes to decongest. Phased reopening, studying on alternate days, and also shift system.
The government is also encouraging vaccination for students aged 18 years and above. Face-to-face learning will start this November for at least 330,000 students in post-secondary institutions.
Well, we add our voice and remind you, if you are a teacher and a student above 18, the vaccination drive is geared towards you, ensuring that you get your 2 shots of the vaccine. That way, schools can reopen amicably. Away from that, we get to look at Kenya's President Uhuru Kenyatta having urged the global community to remain focused on the fight against malaria despite the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Kenyatta, who is also the current chairman of the African Leaders Malaria Alliance, said it was unfortunate that COVID-19 had overshadowed all the efforts that had gone into fighting malaria. He said the fight against malaria, the fight against TB, and the fight against HIV/AIDS are all critical. The Kenyan head of state was addressing End Malaria Council, a group of global public sector and business leaders that sees malaria eradication as a critical health and development priority. The council seeks to drive progress towards ending malaria by ensuring the eradication of the disease remains high on global and regional agenda for strong political, financial and technological commitment from all leaders at all levels. President Kenyatta emphasized the need to focus on Alma's 4-point agenda, top among them being enhancing digitalization and the use of real-time data, including sharing country malaria scoreboards, which can also be used to support the fight against the current and future pandemics.
We have also, let me say as Kenya, taken advantage of the COVID pandemic to re-engage our young people into this particular project through what we call our Kazi Mtaani program, which is engaging young men in cleaning neighborhoods, in helping in health-related aspects in their respective communities. And again, we have seen as a result of this, it has also had an added effect of helping us reduce waterborne diseases, helping us in our fight against diarrhea, bilharzia, etc. But this is something, again, I believe national governments
Away from that, Nigeria attracted a $4.2 billion in foreign remittances in the first quarter of 2021 as the country continues to grapple with foreign currency challenges. The data is obtained from the central bank's balance of payment data published on its website. The amount of dollars inflowing sent through the banking system by the Nigerians living in the diaspora fell to 24%, which compared to last year's report in the same period. Nigeria relies heavily on diaspora remittances to show up its balances of payments obligations.
Reported same population. Data from the UN's Department of Economic and Social Affairs show that there are about 1.7 million Nigerians in the diaspora. Most of them remit much-needed funds back home for friends and family. But recent statistics from the central bank shows that inflows have dipped.
Diaspora remittance often go to the informal sector, families who receive them. And so what that means is, if they've declared, it also means that one of the poverty mitigation framework also declines in terms of families depend. Some of them depend on remittance from their relatives abroad.
Africa's largest economy attracted $4.2 billion in foreign remittances in the first quarter of 2021. That's a 24% decline year on year compared to $5.6 billion reported the same period last year.
What we have now is that people are sending money into the country through unknown other channels, which has also made it difficult for data to be captured, and in terms of the accuracy and the actual number of remittances coming into the country, either through the black market or peer-to-peer means of sending money. Some people say like cryptocurrency.
The country's central bank has initiated several policies to boost foreign currency liquidity. The latest is the Naira for Dollar scheme, where it gives...
Thank you so much for watching UBC Lunchtime News. Now, for any other update between now and our next bulletin, you can head over to our social media platforms on Twitter at UBC TV Uganda for every update that will be coming your way. We will be inspiring you until the next bulletin. My name is Priscilla Naloga, and have yourself a wonderful afternoon.
Beyond Beauty Parlor and Spa, your beautification destination. We believe in suitable beauty. We offer pedicure and manicure, makeup, hairstyling, plating, weaving, dreadlocks, massage, waxing, facial and body scrub, name it. We also offer additional services like honeymoon packages, hiring venues, and vehicles for brides and grooms. Training interns from different beauty schools. We are located on Uganda House, ground floor 5.